Good evening, everybody. We're going to go ahead and call the meeting to order at 6 o'clock.
Lanier Young of St. John's Episcopal Church will provide the invocation.
Lord God, you are our great governor, and we entrust this nation, we entrust this state, this city to your merciful care. We ask that you grant to the President of the United States, Donald, the Governor of Texas, Greg, the Mayor of LaPorte, Rick, to our council persons and to all who hold authority, we ask you to grant them all the wisdom and strength to know and to do your will. Fill each one of them with the love of truth. And God, we thank you for the gifts we have in the LaPorte Bulldogs football team and marching band, and for the chance to do what they love as the winners that they are. Bless every player, parent, volunteer, coach. Bless every official, director, and judge. Bless them with safety and clear minds as they compete. Help them to compete with courage, respect, integrity, honoring you in every action. We also ask you to grant us unity as a community, resilience in the face of challenges, and yes, the joy in the moments that we share together. May we all serve you faithfully in our time and honor your holy name through Jesus Christ, our only Lord, who lives and reigns with you and the Holy Spirit, one God, forever and ever. Amen. Amen. Please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America. Oh, I'm sorry. Color guard.
Attention. Carry colors. Forward march. Color guard halt. Left face. Present colors.
Please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance to the flag of the United States. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Now join me in the Pledge of Allegiance to the flag of the great state of Texas. Honor the Texas flag. I pledge allegiance to thee, Texas, one state, under God, one and indivisible.
Order colors. Right face. Forward march.
Item 3A is recognition of City of LaPorte team members who are veterans of the United States Armed Services. They'll be welcomed by Mayor Helton and the City Council here in the proscenium area. You'll please come down now. Michael Goldie, member of the Air Force for 14 years. Benny Bowles, a member of the Army for 4 years. If you'll all remain up front for a photo at the end, please.
No.
Lane Crow, Army, 8.5 years. Kelly Lathram, Army, 4 years. John Kruger, Army, 4 years. Jeremy Borja, Coast Guard, 20 years. Tracy Phelan, Marines, 5 years. Jeff Clemens, Marines, 9 years. Chris Forsythe, Marines, 4 years. Dutch Lane, Marines, 4 years. Calvin Gadberry, Marines, 6 years. TJ Alessi, Marines, 8 years. Alex Maldonado, Marines, 4 years. And Bill Bentley, Marine Corps Reserve, 6 years.
We're going to take a picture now, but the city wants to thank all the veterans for the fantastic service that y'all did for us as a country, and then how you actually protect us and serve us now. We greatly appreciate it. Thank you very much.
Center.
I gotta be in the front, short. Short people in the front.
Item 3B, recognition of Amber Castro Beltran and Jeremy Borja, newly certified emergency managers.
Tonight it's my honor to recognize Amber Castro Beltran, who is our Deputy Emergency Management Coordinator, and Jeremy Borja, who is our Emergency Management Planner, for officially earning their Certified Emergency Manager credential from the International Association of Emergency Managers. The CEM is not just another title that they get to add behind their name, but it is actually the highest professional certification in the field of emergency management worldwide, and so we are extremely proud of them to receive this designation. There are currently only 2,500 designated CEMs in the world. That represents 28 different countries and 55 other states and territories, and the City of LaPorte gets to add 2 more here for our community. The CEM requires thousands of hours of practical experience, leadership, advanced training in general and emergency management, of course, several professional contributions, as well as passing a comprehensive examination. There have been thousands that have tried to achieve the CEM certification, and thousands have not received that, but Amber and Jeremy have. So this is most certainly is not just a win for them, but it's a win for the City of LaPorte, it's a win for our community, and most importantly, it's a win for the future of the City of LaPorte. And so thank you, Amber and Jeremy, for choosing excellence over average, and for raising the bar for your next peers of emergency managers. Big round of applause. All right, thank you.
Oh, yeah, sorry. do the pose.
Item 3C, recognition of employees for years of service. Ashley Breeding, detective, 10 years. Bonnie Shelkoff, senior services coordinator, 10 years.
She's not here either.
Tammy Adams, telecommunicator, 30 years.
Our dispatchers have a very difficult job. They are usually the first person that the citizens hear whenever they call the police for whatever reason, and they're our lifeline. So they're the person between the police officer and they relay all that information to us. And Tammy has been doing it for 30 years. That's it's a very large accomplishment. And I'll tell you a little bit something about Tammy. For those of you who don't know her, she can be a little bit direct. You never know, or you're never confused about where you stand with Tammy. She's going to tell you, and that can be either good or bad. So I learned early on in my career I was going to be very nice to the dispatchers, and especially Tammy, because they can make our jobs easy or they can make it very difficult. And so I always was very kind to Tammy. And she in turn was kind to me. She always used to make me fudge, but she hasn't done that in a long time, but that's okay. But anyways, 30 years is quite an accomplishment, and couldn't be happier to have her on our team. And I know you're not going to give us 30 more, but
No.
maybe. Thank you, Tammy. Tammy works for John, the Support Services Division, also Matt. And so, John, you want to say anything?
The only thing I could say, those of you that know Tammy and those of you, if you don't, the one word I think of is special. She's just special. We're very, very lucky to have her.
Thank you.
Matt?
Yeah, just echoing what the chiefs have said, and she's been here my whole career. So before Wanda was here, and she was kind of the matriarch of the communication center. But now, when Wanda retired, now Tammy is moved into that role as the matriarch of our communication center. So we're very proud and very privileged to have her as a dispatcher. So thank you, Tammy, for years of service.
Do you want to say anything, Tammy?
Nope, I'm
No.
enjoying it. I'm looking forward to it, but I will not be here another 30 years.
Well, there you go. Thank you, Tammy, very much.
Thank you.
Recognition of the 2025 City University participants.
If we can get all the City U participants to come up to the front as well, the ones who are in attendance. City University is a program that we have run for 10 years out of the Parks and Recreation Department. It gives citizens of LaPorte the chance to come and meet with every single department in the city, tour facilities, ask questions, and really get to understand how the city works kind of from an inside-out perspective. The goal with this is to hopefully that these women continue to stay involved in the city and continue to give us input in regards to how the city is working. So this kind of serves as their graduation of this program, where they have gone for 11 weeks and met with every single department and have been dedicated to coming to the program every week and learning how the city works and functions. Oh, most of them
Look over here.
Thank you. All right. Thank you, ladies, for y'all's participation. Thank you.
Item 4 is a citizen comment. We have not had anybody sign up. Is there anybody that wants to speak that has not signed up? All right, thank you.
Item 5, consent agenda. Item 5A, approve the minutes of the regular city council meeting held on October 27th, 2025. Item 5B, authorize the purchase of Neptune meters and parts from Core and Main of Houston, not to exceed the budgeted amount of $438,500. Item 5C, approve a resolution authorizing the city manager to approve and accept appropriations of a grant from the Urban Area Security Initiative, UASI, in the amount of $141,052.63 for the Mobile Barricade Project. Item 5D, approve a resolution authorizing the city manager to approve and accept appropriations of a grant from the Urban Area Security Initiative, UASI, in the amount of $30,000 for the LaPorte Police Department Surveillance Trailer Project. Item 5E, approve the fiscal year 2025 audit asset forfeiture report and associated financial records of the LaPorte Police Department as required by Chapter 59 of the Texas Code of Criminal Procedure. Item 5F, award bid 25020 PARD Parks and Recreation Department mowing services and authorize the city manager to execute a 10-month contract with options for 2 one-year extensions to Neo Global Enterprises, LLC, DBA Horticare Landscape Management, for mowing of various city properties not to exceed the annual budgeted amount. Item 5G, authorize the city manager to execute an interlocal agreement between the City of LaPorte, Texas, and the Reinvestment Zone Number 1, City of LaPorte, Texas, to bid, construct, and manage renovations and improvements to the Sylvan Beach Pier located at 636 Bayshore Drive, LaPorte, Texas. Item 5H, authorize the city manager to execute an interlocal agreement between the City of LaPorte, Texas, and the Reinvestment Zone Number 1, City of LaPorte, Texas, to bid and construct new pickleball courts located at 600 Little Cedar Bayou Drive, LaPorte, Texas. Item 5I, approve the City of LaPorte, Texas's investment policy. Item 5J, authorize the purchase of hardware support and software support in the amount of $114,720.97 from DataVox through cooperative purchasing contracts DIR CPO 5347. Item 5K, authorize the mayor to execute an interlocal agreement between the City of LaPorte, Texas, and the City of Morgan's Point, Texas, for emergency management services. Item 5L has been pulled and will be considered separately.
I'll make a motion that we accept the consent agenda as presented.
I have a motion by Mr. Ingleton, a second by Mr. Bentley. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Yeah.
Item 5L, adopt ordinance 2025-5010, repealing regulations pertaining to mobile food vendors as codified in Chapter 22, Businesses of the Code of Ordinances of the City of LaPorte, Texas.
All right.
Thank you very much, Mr. Mayor, excuse me, and members of the council. Ryan Vietlook, Director of Planning and Development. If you remember back in December of 2024, you all originally passed an ordinance which amended Chapter 22 of the Code of Ordinances for the operation of mobile food vendors to take effect in the city as of February 1st of 2025. You all then made an update to the ordinance on February 24th of 2025. That update included updates to make the ordinance more practical and easier to enforce. Currently, mobile food vendors are permitted in the city with the issuance of a mobile food vendor permit, and they are required to meet location, health, and safety requirements. Just as a side note, as of October 1st of 2025, we have 9 licensed mobile food vendors within the city. So this most recent legislative session, the Texas legislature passed and Governor Abbott signed House Bill 2844, which is commonly known as the Food Truck Freedom Bill. This law creates a single statewide permit by the Texas Department of State Health Services, which will allow for a mobile food vendor to operate anywhere in the state. As part of this law preempts most local regulations for permitting mobile food vendors. HB 2844 does so allow a local municipality to regulate items such as zoning and noise rules for mobile food vendors. But according to the law, the state will begin permitting these food vendors on July 1st of 2026. More than likely, Harris County Public Health will be the inspection arm for the local inspection arm that will partner with the state health department. So all this to say that as of July 1 of 2026, cities will no longer be able to permit food trucks. And so what staff is recommending is that the council does repeal the current mobile food vendor regulations that are located in Chapter 22 of the Code of Ordinances. It is up to council of when that repeal would take effect. You could have it take effect this evening. You could have it take effect January 1st. You could wait until July 1st of next year. That's really kind of up to you. We have a handful of our mobile food vendors that are about or they need to renew. We have kind of paused any enforcement on this until we're kind of waiting to get some direction from council. The other thing I will mention, just for you all to think about, is that while HB 2844 does restrict the ability of local authorities to regulate mobile food vendors, it still does give cities the power to regulate when related to fire codes, most location restrictions, and zoning codes. So if that is something that this body would be interested in doing, that's something staff can certainly do some research, work with the Planning and Zoning Commission, the 106 committee as well, to prepare some sort of ordinance that would regulate in the ways that we can under 2844. But for this evening, staff is recommending the repeal of the current mobile food vendor regulations located in Chapter 22 of the Code of Ordinances.
Any questions for Ryan? Chuck? Do you have a recommended date of being effective?
I mean, again, we are not enforcing it right now, so we could pause it right now if we wanted to. I would probably recommend that, just because there's no point of just continuing to permit these people if in 6 or 7 months they're going to fall into the purview of the state anyway.
Mr. Martin?
Well, Ryan, are you recommending that we're considering permitting only? We're not, as far as our ordinance goes, these vendors will still have to operate in locations that are approved, right? Or can they go anywhere they want?
So if we repeal this, it's repealing everything that's in Chapter 22 related to mobile food vendors. The state is also very limited on, this law limits communities quite substantially in how we can regulate them. Again, we can potentially look at some zoning, but we can't regulate anything in terms of like separation requirements. Our code right now has, if you're within 300 feet of a restaurant, you have to get permission. We can't regulate that anymore. We cannot regulate how many food trucks are on a property. There's a lot of things we cannot regulate, and so staff would recommend that we kind of scratch this, take a little bit of time to get our bearings and figure out what exactly we can regulate. There's all the communities around the state are kind of dealing with this as well, so we're certainly not alone in that.
As far as enforcement, they still have to have a permit, but it will be issued by the state of Texas, and the Harris County Health Department will, I guess, do a health inspection.
That is correct.
So, who's going to go around to these trucks and make sure they have permits? Is that our law enforcement?
No, that would fall under Harris County or whoever the state contracts locally to handle the inspections and the enforcement of that. We would be out of the food truck permitting game.
I guess I'd kind of like to look at the ordinance a little more closely before we scrap the whole thing tonight. I mean, I don't, it's not in my packet. I don't know if it's in anybody else's, but I just, it seems like, we're getting rid of everything that we've done up to this point. And so far as writing this ordinance. Is that a fair statement?
Yes, I mean, if this is passed, it would repeal section 2258, which is the section of chapter 22, which relates to mobile food vendors. So it would take out all of the...
Repeal this ordinance, then tomorrow food trucks could just show up and do whatever they want, right?
Yes.
I would like to just hold off on that until we can maybe take a little deeper dive into it. That's just my opinion.
Mr. Garrett? Ryan, just a quick question, just to be clear. Regardless of whether we do it now or whether we do it later, our ordinance is moot, correct? I mean, it's
as
gone.
of July 1 of next year.
As of July 1, it's gone.
Yes.
Everything in this ordinance, whether we wait or whether we do it now, is gone, correct?
Generally, yes.
And the only person, the only entity that can issue a permit is going to be the state.
That is correct.
And then, as it's always been, Harris County will be issuing the health certificates so that these food vendors can actually operate anywhere in Harris County.
Actually, anywhere in the state. So the state is actually going to take over all of the permitting. They are supposed to take over all of the health inspections, but the state, I believe, has less than 100 inspectors. So out of 254 counties, that's obviously not going to happen. So we have had conversations with Harris County. They are more than likely going to be the inspection arm for the Houston area.
I know that they had an inspection site over off of Ritchie and 225 in Pasadena, where all the food vendors would go in at the first of the month or whatever and get their health certificates there. So, but I guess the one thing I want to clarify is whether we repeal our ordinance now or wait till later, it's gone regardless, right?
Yes. Yes.
As of July 1st.
Yep.
I mean, that's the drop dead date that we would be completely preempted, because as of that date, then the state takes over, and the permitting is through the state.
Mr. McCauley?
Ryan, so the reason this is on the agenda for tonight is because there's some properties or some food trucks that their permit has expired, and it would be kind of a waste of time, is what I'm hearing, that they get 6 months of Laporte's permitting, and then it just goes away.
Basically.
Okay. I understand that portion of it, and then it's just more busy work for Laporte and PD and everybody to regulate for 6 months, which we know is going to go away, so it's probably not going to get regulated at all. And you mentioned earlier that there's some aspects of this new law regulation that the state is putting out that the city will have some control on where it's located. Is there any of that in our ordinance that is currently in place that we will still be able to regulate?
How our ordinance is written now, I would defer to Clark, but how our ordinance is written now, I don't believe pretty much anything in the ordinance could be enforced upon. We are more than likely going to have to write a whole new ordinance.
Okay, and has it been researched as to what the city of LaPorte and other cities will be able to do and regulate?
Yes.
What is that?
So we can regulate things like noise. We can regulate things like location in terms of what zoning districts we would allow a mobile food vendor to be in. We can regulate things of requiring a property owner's permission to have a food truck on a property, but beyond that, that's really about as far as
we can regulate if it's going into, Fairmount Park West,
yes.
residential neighborhood.
Yes, yeah, we can absolutely regulate
and the new
that.
state laws, it doesn't regulate that. You could put one at the end of Fairmount Park West on Collingswood or whatever.
As long as the HOA doesn't preclude that, yeah.
Well, okay. So I would recommend that we look and see what we can regulate before we just strip it clean and let them do whatever they want. Because they were getting pretty, free and going wherever they wanted before we put in this regulation. I don't know how much it's been enforced up into, when it went in place. And I still see them all over the place, and I haven't seen any of them closed down, but maybe that's just me. And then we find out what we can control, that we do create a new ordinance that will regulate residential areas, put in a noise ordinance so that we don't have just running rampant and we already get ahead of the game instead of just wait for the state of Texas and then we go, okay, now let's put in some regulations. I'd like to know what we can do before we just abolish this one. My opinion.
And Ryan had mentioned the 106 committee. I think that would be my recommendation, to the council and the staff, if we want to look at amending and, specifically addressing food truck operators through our zoning ordinance, coming up with a more comprehensive plan. I think the 106 committee would be a good place to start, because then we can meet and really, analyze the situation, also compare what approach maybe other cities have already taken in light of this bill and how, compare the good and the bad with other ordinances. And then from 106, it would go to the Planning and Zoning Commission. And then an ordinance would then eventually come to the way of the council.
Yeah.
So, Clark, you're recommending an amended ordinance?
No, I was just making the point that, separate from this item, I think the direction, I think it's an agreement that we would look at addressing in the future the operation of these mobile food trucks through our zoning ordinance, because again, this law does leave that open. It does say you can regulate through zoning and also, as they call it, location restrictions, regulations in the bill. And so my recommendation is, as we usually do, we start with the 106 committee to really sit down and come up with an idea and plan for zoning regulations.
I would feel more comfortable taking a look at this new ordinance before we scrap the old one. I would maybe do it all in one night.
Right, and then, correct, and then just as a reminder, as far as what's on the agenda, you could either obviously not take any action at all, or you have the option of passing an ordinance and in the motion specifying a specific repeal date, which you could go as far as, let's say, June 30th, 2026.
And Ryan, just for clarity, June 30, 2026, our ordinance is dead anyway.
Yes. Okay. It'd be unenforceable.
Yep.
Not wise to have on the books.
Mr. Guerra?
So I guess how much, we're still charging these individuals that are under our ordinance, right? That are we issuing permits to?
I'm sorry, what was the question?
We're still charging?
Yes.
Are we still charging, right?
Yes,
And
there is
that's
still
kind
a
of
fee.
where we're at a standstill right now. We're not charging them until we decide what we're gonna do with this ordinance.
We're not charging them, we're not requiring them to renew their permits or anything like that. We've kind of been in this state of trying to figure out what to do for about the last month.
I'm just I guess what I'm wondering is, we've got the food truck vendors that have actually been going by the rules and loyal to the city of LaPorte. We're gonna keep charging them for another 6 months and charging them money and asking them to approve. And then when all this is amended, here comes everybody else that doesn't have to pay anything. So that is my,
They want to pay it.
I know, but till June.
What are we currently charging the food trucks?
I believe it's 50 for one day and 125 for every 3 months.
So it's just the quarter. So if we do it for the half year, it's not like we're charging them full year's permitting fee.
No, the maximum you can get in a permit at one time is 90 days.
So everybody gets free reign come July 1. But the people that still have it, this would prevent somebody, 10 trucks just come in and not being permitted at all if we hold on to this. And it will be abolished in its current state. What if we, over that time, 106 committee rewrites the amendment and then we approve it, getting rid of everything that would be abolished, and we put stuff that we can enforce into it, then it won't be abolished come June 30th, correct?
Yes, but I would still say it's going to need to be moved out of Chapter 22 and moved into Chapter 106.
Okay.
Right. I would completely agree with that.
It'll be abolished in 22 and we
Yes.
put it in 106. So amending it won't do any good.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
I agree.
what from our current ordinance will we be able to move to 106?
Not much
really
of
nothing.
anything,
Correct.
probably
Right.
nothing.
So we're not charging for these permits now, correct?
We have not for about the last month.
Okay, and we don't plan on charging going forward?
Depends on what the direction of council is. We've been kind of waiting to hear what council wants to do. If we don't repeal it, we would start again requiring folks to get permits, the fees, and meeting the requirements of Chapter 22.
Yeah, I see Gary's point. It's kind of, we know it's coming to an end. Why are we still trying to milk money out of our folks that are doing business here?
Mhm.
I understand that.
And that's staff's concern as well.
Okay. All right. I hate to say it, but I agree with staff on this one. Mr. Martin?
My concern are the brick and mortar restaurants that are, struggling to make ends meet, and then we repeal this ordinance. Next day, they have 10 food trucks across the street. Why should we, I just don't see that charging them, from what I'm hearing, we're not gonna charge them a permit fee. But even if we did, I mean, it's shallow in comparison to what the cost the brick and mortar restaurants have to pay daily just to stay open.
So can you have an ordinance to us by next meeting, next month?
Probably not, because it'll have to go through 106 and Planning and Zoning Commission, so we're probably looking at January or maybe February.
So late January, second meeting in January?
We could possibly do that. It would be tight.
Right, because it's going to have to go to P and Z.
Yeah.
If it's a
And
zoning
there's
ordinance by
only
law.
one meeting in December for P and Z.
February?
Yeah, I think February is probably reasonable.
Okay.
Mayor, may I ask a
Yes, sir.
question? Just so I make sure that we are, have clear direction and we deliver what the expectation is. As Ryan mentioned, we have not been charging permit fees, and we've not, because we have folks that need to be renewed. It is, and so between now and February, we'll have more that need to be renewed. Are we going to continue to do that, and complete enforcement, or are we going to pause enforcement while we work rest of this out? It's good. We just won't make sure we're clear, because I don't want to go and do something that's not the will of the county.
Right. I personally don't see a reason to charge these folks when we know that this ordinance that we have on the books is not going to be valid in 6 months, 7 months. So that's my personal opinion on it.
I'm okay with that.
Okay. Okay. All right, so no charging fees for it.
But we'll move forward with continuing to enforce 2258 until we bring something back to y'all, which will probably be February.
Okay.
Well, just to make sure I'm clear, we're doing everything except charging. Is that right? I understand.
Right, I mean, that's what I'm hearing, is that the council wants to keep our current mobile food vendor regulation intact, except no longer charge a fee for a permit.
That's my opinion.
Okay.
All right.
I'd like to see the ordinance repealed myself, but that's on the agenda, yeah, yeah. Order, Mr. McLaren, as I noted, one option. Did you have anything?
That's what we're deciding.
Microphone.
Sorry. I would also like to respond to Mr. Martin. I was looking at the actual state law here. I do want to be very clear that the new law does not allow cities to regulate location in terms of the distance between a food truck and a restaurant. That is not something that can be regulated. It's not regulated. The state can't regulate it or a local municipality. So we can do location restrictions in terms of like what district they can be in or things like that, but we cannot have a separation requirement between a food truck and a restaurant.
Mr. Martin?
We could theoretically prohibit food trucks from the Main Street district.
Theoretically,
Certainly, yeah, it's a zoning
For a
district.
whole district, right?
Yes, yes.
It would have to be objective and even-handed, yes, but correct, as far as what district they're allowed in or what district they're not allowed in. Mr. McLaren?
Okay, so I have a question. So if we keep the ordinance, but we're not charging, what's the difference between abolishing the ordinance altogether?
This is gonna sound like an answer, but it's really a question. But I hope I understand it correctly. We would do everything that the ordinance requires. The only thing we would not do is collect money. So that is to say that we require them to get permits, we're gonna do the inspections, we're gonna make sure that all the other, rules of our current ordinance are adhered to. We just won't collect a fee from them. Is how I understood. And
what I
please,
understood.
if that's not correct, please let me know.
Anybody? All right, so we've got a couple options. We can have someone make a motion with a particular repeal date, or we can just do nothing and just let it expire. What do you want to do?
So would you repeat that?
Someone can make a motion with a definite repeal date, or we just don't do anything and nothing changes. We've already given direction to staff. Mr. Garrett?
Okay, let me be clear. So if we don't repeal it, okay, we're not gonna charge the individuals that are currently here, correct?
Correct. We've already given
That
instructions
is
to
my main
staff.
concern, is I don't wanna show any, no charges for any of the people that have been loyal to the city of LaPorte and paying their dues.
Correct. I think what I would suggest, we could bring something in 2 weeks. Well, let's make sure we're doing all right. We could bring something in 2 weeks just to make it clear that the fee is zero, right? I mean, if we want to play it conservative, do it on the up and up. If we don't do anything, we can at least bring the ordinance back, the Chapter 22 ordinance, just show that in the letter, there is no fee, but everything else stays the same. You can do that. Correct.
We can certainly get that back in December. I guess the Councilman Guerra's comments raised just a point of clarification. In my mind, please again correct me if this is not correct. If we leave the ordinance in place and the only thing that we don't do is charge, if we have another 10 food trucks that come to our community that are not here now, we would still take them through the process. We just wouldn't charge. I just wanted to make sure, because I think there were some conversations about food trucks that are already here and how we handle those. And those are renewals. But I think obviously the ordinance allows for new vendors to come in town as well. And so, which I don't know, we've exactly discussed that, but the way I think the instruction I've gotten is that those vendors will be handled the same as any renewal. If that's, I just want to be clear. All right.
Mr. Martin?
I just have one other question. Did we notify any of the brick and mortar restaurant owners that this is about to happen? Or is this just totally going to be, they're going to hear about it tomorrow that we canceled an ordinance or whatever?
No.
I know that it's not something that they can, that we can fix for them. It's a state issue. But I just am wondering if there's any transparency here, or if it's just going to be like, y'all did what?
So I don't think we notified every brick and mortar I personally talked to that have been very vocal on the subject. And then I think the mayor and Corby met with an owner of an establishment on Main Street as well.
And I'm guessing the reaction was not in favor. Yeah. Well, it just seems a little sudden. I would kind of like for them to get their arms around it a little bit before we do it.
Mr. Garrett?
Well, I can understand Mr. Martin's concern, but regardless of whether they get their arms around it or not, laws passed, it's already done. I mean, there's nothing that we can do about that other than postpone the repealment of our ordinance until that takes effect. Now, like I said, my only concern was that I just wasn't happy with the fact that we were going to keep charging the individuals that are already here when we know that in July of next year, anybody can come in without having to pay anything. So as long as they're not having to pay anything, we can keep the ordinance intact. Other than that, and I'm a happy man, so we're good.
Yeah. All right. Ryan, do you know what we're wanting?
Yes, so we will no longer charge any of our fees for food trucks. We will bring something back on December 8th that actually clearly codifies that.
I'll draft that.
And then we will work with 106 and Clark to analyze this to figure out exactly what we can regulate, and we will begin that process with a goal of bringing it to y'all in February.
Perfect, okay. Is that what everybody wants? Everybody's good? Okay, all right, thank you, sir.
Yep, thank you.
Item 6A, the City Council will hold a public hearing to receive comment on the adoption of Ordinance 2025-4092, ordering the condemnation of dangerous substandard structures located at 114 South Iowa Street, LaPorte, Texas, followed by discussion and possible action on the same.
We'll call the public hearing to order at 6:49.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. Tonight, I only have one for you. It's a 90-day update at 114 South Iowa. At the council meeting on April 21st, staff was instructed to give a 60-day update, and then on July 28th, we were instructed to give a 90-day update, and that's what I'm presenting to you today. So this was the property on June 12th, 2025, and on the left, and this is what it currently looks like on the right as of October 23rd. Last Friday, staff went out and did a site visit to get some updated pictures. So as you can see on the left, the property has cabinets in, it's got the light fixtures, doors, it's been taped and floated. The floors are in place. Here's some pictures of the shower, and here's some pictures of some more light fixtures. So staff has maintained ongoing communication with the contractor and conducted regular inspections. The property owner has made substantial progress towards full compliance, and the remaining items are minor and expected to be completed promptly. So the only inspection they have left is the final inspection. They've done everything that we've asked. They've replaced a lot of the rotten wood. They've fixed the clips and straps, and I think the only thing left as of last Friday was really the toilets and the sinks, some of the plumbing fixtures. But other than that, they've done everything we've asked, and they've gone above and beyond. If you have any, I don't know if the property owner is here, but if you have any questions for me.
Mr. Garrett?
So I depend on you for this. So prior to them floating and putting up all the walls, you checked all the structure?
Yes, sir.
And everything was taken care of?
So our first inspection, we had some concerns, and they replaced the rotten wood. Some of the clips and straps were backwards. They went in and they replaced all of those. So yes, sir, everything that we did. We even met the engineer on site. We made the engineer come out there, and he walked over it with us, and they did everything that we asked.
Foundation issues were taken care of
Yes,
also?
sir. Yep.
They turned the cinder blocks the right way?
Yep.
Yeah. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Anybody in the audience wish to speak on this? All right, we'll close the public hearing at 6:51.
Item 7A, presentation, discussion, and possible action to adopt ordinance 2025-4065, amending Chapter 50, Parks and Recreation, and Appendix A, Fees of the Code of Ordinances of the City of LaPorte, Texas, by revising regulations applicable to the operation of city parks and related facilities.
You need to turn the microphone on.
Sorry,
Thanks,
you
ma'am.
have me today instead of Tim. So in reviewing Chapter 50 of the ordinance, it has come to our attention it hasn't been updated in quite a while, so we are making some updates to the fees. So a couple of the bigger updates that you'll see is we're removing D Street from the name of Linear Park, and we're also removing subsection 5 and 6, which is defining park areas. Basically, it'll just be considered city property and not necessarily parks. We added Seabreeze Pavilion list to the rental facilities. It currently wasn't a rental facility. It's a first come, first serve. The dates are a little off on here. Summer will be March 1 through September 30th, and winter will be October 1 through February 28th, 29th, depending on the year. We removed season passes from municipal pools. We have not sold those in quite a few years. We removed the admission rates for special groups. We do try to accommodate larger groups depending on what the need for those groups are, but we are removing the reduced admissions. We removed the restrictions on individuals and organizations concerning reserving fields once per month, as well as deposits for ball fields. A couple of the changes for the Recreation and Fitness Center in regards to membership fees is we removed the deluxe plan, which the deluxe plan was access to the pool, racquetball courts, and stuff like that. We really don't have a way of restricting people from going to the pool. There's not a keypad or anything to go in, and we no longer have the racquetball and handball courts. Those have been gone since COVID, since 2020. We changed the title to include Seabreeze Pavilion on Article 7. We removed references to any Fairmont Recreation facility, and we added Seabreeze as a facility to rent. For swimming pools, we removed season passes. We have not sold those in at least the past 9 years. And also the Sunsaver for any time after 4, our fees remain the same throughout the entire day. Northwest Pool was moved into the section that requires fees. Currently, we only have one free pool, and that is Fairmont. And we removed Brooklyn as a pool because that hasn't been a pool. I don't know when it was a pool. It hasn't been a pool in at least in the last 10 years. We removed allowing alcohol into Little Cedar Bayou by permit, so now alcohol is not allowed. And we removed the admission rates for special groups, which is conducive to the section above in front of this. We removed deposit requirements for all fields, for softball fields, and added a non-resident fee. Currently, they were just regular fees, so now there's a resident and non-resident fee to the rental schedule. For Sylvan Beach, we removed the fee structure for rental of Sylvan Beach Pavilion. We do not rent that out. We added Seabreeze to the title to all the civic centers, recreation centers, and piers that they can rent, and a $100 deposit to the pavilion at Seabreeze. We currently did not have any kind of deposit in place, so this kind of helps us in maintaining our property there and keeping people accountable. And that's about it for this section. Do you have any questions?
Mr. Martin?
Any regulations regarding the new pickleball courts?
No, it's going to be a first come, first serve for pickleball courts as of right now.
All right, thanks.
Mr. Guerra?
Just a quick question on the, because I see that we're going to start charging rent for Seabreeze for the pavilion.
Yes.
Okay. And when we didn't do it before?
No.
And we're also going to have a separate deposit for Seabreeze also?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
So if they don't do anything, they get their $100 back, but we will still keep their rental fees.
I was curious if they allow a rental to Seabreeze Park, or is the general public still allowed to use the pier?
Yes, so they're only renting the pavilion. They're not renting the park itself. So the park will always stay open to residents.
And the pier as well?
Yes. Yes, we will. The only thing that will be closed off would be that section of the pavilion that they are renting.
Okay.
Restrooms will still be accessible for everybody.
And will they be able to rent the whole pavilion or half?
I believe we're just still doing half right now.
Okay. Mr. Bentley?
On the Sylvan Beach Pavilion, I've been contacted by people that want to, in the past, they've had a Easter sunrise service there in the past. They've been told recently that there are fees involved that can't afford it anymore. Is that going away?
For the Sylvan Beach Pavilion, we don't operate the Sylvan Beach Pavilion, so I don't.
Okay. Yeah.
I would imagine that's whatever company is operating that right now.
Okay, thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you, ma'am. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
I'll make a motion that we accept ordinance number 2025-4065 as presented.
We have a motion by Mr. Eagleton, a second by Mr. Bentley. All in favor, say aye. Any opposed? Motion carries.
Ordinance 2025-4065, an ordinance amending Chapter 50, Parks and Recreation, and Appendix A, Fees of the Code of Ordinances of the City of LaPorte by revising regulations applicable to the operation of city parks and related facilities, providing a repealing clause and a severability clause, finding compliance with the Open Meetings Act, providing that any person violating the terms of this ordinance shall be deemed guilty of a misdemeanor, and upon conviction shall be fined in a sum not to exceed $500, providing for the publication of the caption hereof, finding an effective date.
Item 7B, presentation, discussion, and possible action to award Public Works Facility Improvements Phase 3 and 4 Construction Manager at Risk to Comex Corporation and authorize the city manager to execute said contract, providing for an award of an $8,000 pre-construction services fee to be used during the design phase, a future cost of $637,250 for general conditions, and a profit and overhead rate of 2.95%, both to be included in the guaranteed maximum price.
Good evening. Yes, so this is the execution or the award execution of the construction manager at risk contract for Comex Corporation. So this is phase 3 and 4 of the Public Works complex. Similar to the City Hall and the previous Public Works contract, the way this works is we execute it, it releases the pre-construction fees, and then it guarantees the general conditions and the percent profit for the CMAR during the construction phase, which is the GMP. So if this were to award following that, we would work with the CMAR group to finish the design of the facility, and then we would come back to council with the guaranteed maximum price after that's negotiated through the contractor and the architect. And this is for the operations, the fleet building, and site work and the demolition of the existing Public Works facility. And if there's any questions.
I'll make a motion that we accept the item 7B as presented by staff.
We got a motion by Mr. Eagleton, a second by Mr. Bentley. All in favor, say aye. Any opposed? Motion carries.
Item 7C, presentation, discussion, and possible action to authorize the city manager to execute a professional services contract with Joyner Architects for the Fire Station No. 1 remodel in the amount of $240,000.
Yeah, so this is the execution of a design contract or architectural services for Joyner Architects. So with the fire marshal's office relocating to the new city hall this coming year, there's a desire to renovate some of that space to make it more habitable, useful to the fire station. So what this contract does, or what this design does, it renovates that existing space to add dorm rooms for staff. It also renovates the day room and the kitchen area to better accommodate the staff there. As well as that, there's a complete remove, replace of the HVAC system. That's been an issue for the station for the past decade. So if there's any questions on that design contract, I can follow up with those.
Okay, this is just the design. Any estimated cost on the actual remodel?
So we've only had like a scoping meeting, but based on the scoping meeting, the estimated construction cost was around $2 million. So 35% of that or so is just the HVAC system. So we're renovating, 2,000 or so square feet of the actual station, but we're we're removing and replacing the entire HVAC system in the facility.
I'll make a motion that we accept the remodel design services for fire station number 1.
We got a motion by Mr. Engelken, a second by Mr. Bentley. All in favor, say aye. Any opposed? Motion carries.
Item 7D, presentation, discussion, and possible action to cast the City of LaPorte's ballot for persons to be appointed to serve on the Board of Directors of the Harris Central Appraisal District for a term beginning January 1st, 2026. The council received the ballot from the Harris Central Appraisal District, and the city has 6 votes to cast. The candidates are as shown on the ballot that was included: Martina Lamont Dixon, Bill Frazier, Jason Morris, Melissa Noriega, and Ann Williams. The city's votes can be allocated in any amount among them, or not at all, or all to a single candidate.
I personally don't know any of them. I've heard of a couple of them. I would ask if staff has a recommendation. Lee.
Well, that would not really be possible unless perhaps Mr. Dolby has worked with the Harris Central Appraisal District Board of Directors. This is not a board that we have any interaction with. I'm not familiar with any of these individuals.
I don't remember any of these people showing up to the Harris County Mayor and Council meetings either, because typically they lobby at those meetings to get appointed to one of these boards, and I don't remember any of these people doing that in the previous meetings. What happens if we did nothing?
The votes will simply not be allocated.
I guess
There are 5 of them. You could give one each.
So we do a no vote?
Yeah, I guess I have a problem nominating somebody that we don't know anything about. So my recommendation is to do nothing.
Item 7E, presentation, discussion, and possible action to approve recommendations from the Chapter 172 Employee and Retiree Insurance Advisory Committee regarding dental, vision, life, accidental death and dismemberment, and disability lines of coverage.
Evening, Mayor and Council. 172 met on October 7th to review bids received for these lines of coverage. Here to present their recommendations. You have a presentation in your packet that our benefit consultant Hub put together. I'll summarize that as we go through here. We'll start with dental. This is a voluntary coverage option that the employees are solely responsible for. The cost, this does not impact our medical plan. The recommendation from 172, after reviewing the 7 proposals received, was to stay with our current provider, which is Cigna. It's a 5% cost increase. That translates to $5.52 a month for a family coverage. Maintains the same level of coverage, the same network, and that rate is locked in for 2 years. Any questions about dental before I move on to the other lines of coverage? Moving right along, life, AD&D, and disability. Look at these as a bundle, and again, a combination of city providing basic life, AD&D, long-term disability. Employees have the option to purchase short-term disability and some supplemental life at their cost. We got 7 proposals. The recommendation for 172 is to partner with Oaks for these lines of coverage. On the basic life AD&D, a 0% cost increase to the city with the same provider, a 3-year agreement. Voluntary life and AD&D would remain with the incumbent, no cost increase on a 3-year agreement. Same is true for the long-term disability, and lastly, on the short-term disability, options available to employees, same provider with a 3-year agreement with a premium reduction of about 10%. So you bundle all those together, it's a cost savings. You looking at all of those, maintaining the same providers with a 3-year rate guarantee. Any questions on those lines of coverage? Last but certainly not least, vision. We currently partner with Avisis. We have a 5-year deal with them. We'll complete 3 years here at the end of this calendar year. There's an option for 2 optional years. They presented a couple of 2 different options for that. The plan that 172 is recommending does have an annual premium increase, an annualized increase of $68.40 for a family. But in addition to that cost increase, the allowance for frames would increase from $65 to $200, so $135 increase in benefit there, and an increase in contact lens allowance of $25. So the cost of the coverage is going up, but the benefits are going up as well. And this would be locked in place for the final 2 years of the agreement with Avisis. All told, these plans do come in under the amount we had budgeted by about $14,000. Any questions on any of that?
Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much.
Make a recommendation, we accept the Chapter 172 Committee's recommendation.
Got a motion by Mr. Ingleton, a second by Mr. Bentley. All in favor, say aye. Any opposed? Motion carries.
Item 8A, presentation on flock cameras.
Good evening.
Good evening, sir.
Okay, so to start with, flock safety.
You're going to have to get closer to the microphone.
Excuse me, sorry. Flock safety, I mean, it's public safety through technology, basically. It's the best tool that we currently have in our police department besides us. 1, because it's working for us all the time, and 2, because it's so easy to use. So LPR technology is nothing new. We've had LPRs here in the city of LaPorte since probably about 2014. We used to have LPRs mounted on top of our cars. We went away with that just because it's only working where we're at. And when a car's not out on shift, then it's not being used, you know, and it's hard to keep a car running 24 hours a day because you just wear your car out. So we kind of got away from that, and we're switching over to Flock now. With Flock, let me go back to this, sorry. So the way Flock is used, every car that goes past a Flock camera gets run through TCIC, NCIC. And the benefit to that is if a car passes a camera and it's a stolen vehicle, that vehicle is going to be entered, if it was reported stolen, entered into TCIC, NCIC. So we would get an automatic notification that a stolen vehicle passed that camera. When that happens, anyone that's logged into Flock will get a prompt that pops up. It'll tell you which camera that vehicle passed by, which direction it was going, gives you a picture of that vehicle and the license plate. So typically what we would do is you'd run that plate real quick just to confirm that it was a good read and not a misread, because there can be accidents from time to time. And then from there, the officers would go out and search the area and locate the vehicle. Vehicles can be entered into TCIC, NCIC for several reasons. Sex offenders are automatically logged or registered to TCIC, NCIC. So if we had a sexual offense take place in an area, we could go back and look and see, was there any sex offenders in the area? You know, that could give us a lead to potentially look for. Terrorist watch list, anyone that's on a terrorist watch list would be entered into TCIC, NCIC. Violent persons, as I already mentioned, stolen vehicles, and vehicles that were used in a felony offense. So if a vehicle isn't stolen, but we committed a robbery in that vehicle, it could be entered into TCIC, NCIC, and you would know that that vehicle was used in that offense. Stolen license plates are entered into TCIC and CIC. Where we get the benefit in that is if a plate's stolen, typically it's stolen to be put on a car to go do a crime. So that way we're thrown off in the investigation. But we'll get an alert for that. So we know there's a stolen plate. We'll go look for that vehicle as well. Here in our city and in a lot of cities, we have a hot list that we can generate ourselves. So investigators will create a hot list for suspects in, metal theft cases, or a big one that we used to use it for was with catalytic converter thefts. So we'd have a working list of suspects that we believe or know are stealing catalytic converters. When we get a hit, we would go out and search hotels, businesses, and stuff like that to see if they're in the area. With every municipal warrant or every ticket that goes to a municipal warrant, court has a record of it, right? So I'll put the top 30 highest offenders in TCIC, and that thing goes off all day long. So when we get those hits, we'll go out and look for those people, arrest them. If they have an active warrant after it's confirmed, they'll come to the jail, and then the court can deal with it from there. Other things that are entered into TCIC and CIC is silver alerts. So elderly that are missing, we get a silver alert. We get notifications on all the billboards, but we'll also get an alert if that car is in our city and passes one of our cameras. We've had success with recovering people before in the past, before it even gets to that point, because we can start searching for their plate. Like I said, it's real-time data. We have 14 cameras in the city right now. We have a mobile camera that we kind of use as a hotspot tool when we're having problems in an area. I'll go put it up. We've got 2 more in the works that hopefully will be up in the next 2 months. There's 6 different cameras now that are owned by HOAs. They went through the program here. We got some of that funds covered, but we have access to those cameras now. So that's, a better tool for us. It saved PD some money as well. So in total, we have access to 1,053 networks throughout the country. So that's a lot. And that comes into help for us when we have people that come from out of state or the other side of the state to commit crimes. We can still search them, search their plate, find them, say, oh, well, they're in the Austin area. Oh, they left from Austin, now they're in Fort Worth. Or, oh, now they're in Louisiana. So you can kind of pattern suspects. You can give those agencies a heads up too. Hey, this guy's doing crime in our area. We see he's hitting your flock camera. You might want to go look for him. We have currently a 30-day retention period on all the data that we receive from flock. There are options to get a larger retention period, but we just don't use it. We don't need it for most of the cases that we're working. When we search flock, our officers have to put in a case number. They have to put in what kind of case it is that they're working. So there's some, safeguards there to know if it's being used for nefarious reasons. I can go back through and run a report and see what everyone runs in flock. The chiefs can as well, but I'm the main one that deals with all of our flock stuff. And I also have the ability to know what other agencies are searching our flock cameras as well. We're in compliance with all Texas and federal laws at this point. We plan on staying that way. So some of the flock successes that we've had, just to share some of that with you, we had the Brooklyn shooting last year, or at the beginning of this year. Within an hour of that shooting, we identified one of the suspects by a license plate. When we showed up, there was a witness at the park that said, hey, I saw a Camaro and a silver car taken off together. So I jumped in my car, started searching, and within an hour, we located that Camaro on Underwood. That case led down a rabbit hole where we actually charged that guy there with sexual assault of several juveniles, promotion of child porn, and all kind of stuff. And it all started from a drug rip or a bad drug deal. So it went somewhere we weren't expecting. We had an elderly male last year that went out to buy milk, never made it home. Family called 3 hours later to report him missing. We started running that plate, and we could see that he was in Baytown. He was driving north and south, up and down North Main. We contacted Baytown, told them about it. They went out, located the mail. We got him home safe. So that saved us from, putting out a silver alert and all that stuff. That worked out pretty good for us. We had a male come from Indiana to meet one of our juveniles here in the city. So he traveled from out of state to meet this underage female. If it wasn't for the flock cameras, we never would have identified him because the girl did not want to cooperate with our investigation. But the grandfather had some information to share, and we were able to locate his vehicle based on that. That case went federal, and he got an 11-year sentence for coming to meet that girl here in the city. We recovered a stolen welder from Four Horn Industrial over on North 14th. Within 30 minutes of it being stolen, because of our flock cameras, the guys that stole it were in a stolen vehicle, passed up one of our flock cameras. We got the hit, went out there, located them. Sure enough, it was a fresh stolen that we were able to recover and get that property back to them. And it was a $20,000 welder, so they were pretty happy to get it back within 30 minutes. This year alone, we've arrested over 32 LaPorte warrants based on our flock cameras, the municipal warrants that we get put into the system. And Detective Lane got several guys charged with burglary using our flock cameras. He identified a suspect. He was able to kind of follow them around town based on the flock cameras that we have access to. We finally got a hit that they were back in the city. He relayed that information back to the patrol guys. They all got in the area and caught these guys breaking into work vehicles that were parked at the hotels. They were stealing all the equipment. So caught them red-handed in the act. So for all these reasons, it's a great tool to us. We hope that y'all, stay on board with us with this. We know a lot of cities have been backing out from using flock for various reasons, but it's beneficial to us and it's beneficial to the citizens. Any questions?
How do you get notified?
Our laptops. So everyone that has a city-issued cell phone, their phone number is in there. They'll get a text message. Anyone that is logged on to an MDT in a vehicle will get that prompt, and our dispatchers in the dispatch center will also get a notification as well.
This is just a license plate reader. It's not like facial recognition.
Correct. License plate reader. Yes, sir.
I
That's
guess
it.
at some point technology will get for facial recognition for missing kids and missing
I'm sure it will.
elderly or most wanted list or terrorist or whatever. So
I'm sure it will.
this camera does it.
That right now it's just cameras, just license plates.
Just license.
Anyone else?
Thank you, sir. I appreciate
Thank
it.
you.
Thank you.
Item 8B, report of the Fiscal Affairs Committee meeting held on November 10th, 2025.
Mayor and Council, the Fiscal Affairs Committee met at 4:30. Had a short agenda. They reviewed the fourth quarter investment report. City Finance Department does an excellent job with that, so it's in very good shape. Also, on the consent agenda, you approved the investment policy for LaPorte, and we also reviewed the purchasing card report as well. The next meeting is January 26th, and that concludes the report.
Item 8C, report of the LaPorte Drainage and Flooding Committee meeting held on November 10th, 2025.
Yes, the Drainage and Flooding Committee met earlier this evening. We received updates on Harris County flood control projects. Harris County Flood Control representative was on hand. Also updates on current drainage projects such as Brook Glen and Bayside Terrace. We identified no new additional drainage concerns, and we set the date for the next meeting to be January the 12th.
Item 8D, administrative reports.
Yes, thank you. Just two things to report tonight as relates to positions that were improved in this fiscal year budget. I think last time we reported on two positions that were still hanging out. One's the record specialist for police department. That position has been recruited, vetted, and the individuals will start work next week. We've done initial review. The second one is the airport manager. We've done initial, HR has done initial screening on at least one candidate, and we're working to schedule a second interview for that position. But once we get that buttoned up, that will be the last new position to be filled.
All right, council comments. Mr. Engelken.
Yeah, I'd like to thank all the veterans that came out, especially the city. Very nice thing the city did for all the veterans. After all, they sacrificed for us, so I want to thank each and every one of them for that. Also, thank all the participants for this city university, and as well as Amber and Jeremy. And wish everybody a happy Thanksgiving.
Mr. Bentley.
Mr. Mayor, this is a tough act to follow.
Yes, same for me. Thank you to all the veterans, and wish everyone a happy Thanksgiving.
Mr. McCauley.
Yes, thanks, vets. Really appreciate you guys and the service. Also, Lieutenant Bish, that was a great report. Thank you. It's a good investment in keeping our residents safe. That's showing some really good results. Thank you. And if you're not doing anything this Friday, LaPorte Bulldogs have their first playoff game. Go out and support them. They're a great team.
Mr. Garrett.
I want to go ahead and also thank all the veterans, because without y'all, sometimes we wouldn't be practicing our freedoms of speech and all the freedoms that we do have in this country. I want to congratulate everybody for their years of service, and especially I would like to congratulate Miss Tammy Adams. I had to smile when Chief referred to her directness. What many people may not know is that Tammy comes from a law enforcement family. Her father was a Pasadena police officer, and he was my field training officer in 1985. So when you say direct, it's definitely hereditary, because that was her father. So anyway, thanks to everyone, and have a happy Thanksgiving.
Mr. Martin.
Yeah, I want to thank all the veterans. Thank you, Bill Bentley, for your service as well. Congratulations to Amber and Jeremy. That's quite an award. Helps keep LaPorte at the top of the ladder, so thank you all for everything. I want to congratulate Tammy Adams for 30 years of service in the PD. And also thanks Officer Bish for that report. Very informative, and it's good to hear. So thank you very much.
Mr. McLaren.
Ditto.
Mr. Alexander, you have anything? Okay, all right. I'd like to thank the ISD and Dr. Jackson for including the veterans in their Friday night game. They had, along with the city, they had a hospitality suite for the veterans, a +1 to feed them, and they got into the game for free. So that was very nice. Thank you, Bill, for your service. Appreciate it. Congratulations to the Bulldog High School band. They're in San Antonio in competition now. I understood that they played this morning, but it's an ongoing competition, so I don't know how they did, but wish them best of luck. Congratulations or a big thank you to Tracy Ferris. For those of you that don't know, she does our grants, and she was able to work with the library and get a $20,000 grant for the library to digitize all the old papers for LaPorte. It costs $20,000, and that's only about half the papers, but you'll be able to go online and search the papers for free. And I think it takes about a year for the process. So once that's done, we'll apply for another grant. So Tracy worked on that very hard. We really appreciate that. Keep LaPorte Beautiful Committee. They planted 19 trees at the Martin Luther King Park this week. Can't believe we had a park that large with no trees in it. So it looks really, really nice. And then finally, congratulations to LaPorte Community Church. They had their 100th anniversary yesterday. So they've been in LaPorte for 100 years. So with that.
Item 10, executive session. The council will convene an executive session. Under Texas Government Code, Section 551.0872, deliberation regarding economic development negotiations. The City Council will meet in closed session with the city manager and city attorney to deliberate the offer of a financial incentive to a business prospect that the City Council seeks to have locate in the city of LaPorte.
We will go into executive session at 7:25. John, do you have a motion for us?
Yeah, I'll make a motion that we gave staff direction on an economic development opportunity.
Thank you, sir. We have a motion by Mr. Engelken, a second by Mr. McCauley. All in favor say aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. meeting at 7:58.